Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Figueroa versus Guerrero media conference call. Your host for today, Lou DiBella, will begin.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us for the main event conference call for the PBC on Fox and Fox Deportes show on July 15th, live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time on Fox, but live at NYCB Live, home of the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. And this will be the first boxing event on Long Island, first major boxing event at the Nassau Coliseum in 31 years. The last event was on March 10th, 1986. It was headlined by Mike Tyson. For anyone that hasn't been to NYCB, Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, it's a gorgeous venue. Opened with a Billy Joel concert a couple of months ago. One of the really beautiful new venues in the world. And if you had been at the Nassau Coliseum before, this is a tremendous upgrade over the old building. And I want to introduce my friend, the CEO of Brooklyn Sports and Entertainment, Brett Yormark, a man who's responsible for rebuilding this great venue and bringing boxing back to Long Island, big-time boxing back to Long Island. Brett?
Thank you, Lou. Appreciate everyone being on the call. Robert, thrilled that you'll be headlining the card out at NYCB Live's Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, obviously with Omar. As Lou said, this fight effectively has been 31 years in the making. Big-time fights left Long Island many years ago, and we're thankful to be playing a small role in bringing back boxing to Long Island. Everyone knows the impact that Brooklyn boxing has had, not only on the industry, but obviously here in Brooklyn at Barclays Center. And, you know, the great fights, the compelling matchups, all of that and more, people will experience at a very high level on July 15th when we open up Brooklyn boxing on Long Island for our fans. So thrilled to be a part of it, very excited about it. Ticket sales are going extremely well. It's a great card from top to bottom. And what I think I'm excited most about this card is I think it's just very fan-friendly. Lots of action is anticipated, so it should just be a great night from top to bottom of premier boxing champions, at the Coliseum. So thank you, Lou, for all your support. Robert, thrilled that you'll be with us on the 15th. Same with you, Omar, and looking forward to seeing you both in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brett. The tickets start at $50, and they're on sale now. They can be purchased online at Ticketmaster.com, NYCBLive.com, by calling 1-800-745-3000, or at the Ticketmaster box office at NYCB Live. So you can purchase them at the Nassau Coliseum. It's a terrific card, as Brett said, from top to bottom, an action card, and all three fights, televised fights, on Fox should be brawls. There's what I'm calling the Polish Heavyweight Championship between Artur Szpilka from Poland and Adam Kownacki, who's right now the best Polish-American heavyweight, and that's been a very big anticipated bout in the Polish community, and should be a brawl. Shawnee Monahan, the pride of Long Island, lives about a stone's throw from the Nassau Coliseum, fighting Marcus Brown, one of the top young 75-pounders in the world, in a fight that has great interest for Long Island. And this main event between OMAR Figueroa and Robert Guerrero really can't miss. This really does figure to be an all-action, all-out war. Both these guys are warriors. Both of them come forward and throw. Neither one of them is a runner. They're both really true warriors in the historic sense of the great Mexican and Mexican-American fighters. Robert Guerrero is a six-time world champ. He's held titles in every organization. He's been a champ in 4 divisions, from featherweight, super featherweight, lightweight, all the way to welterweight. And this fight will be contested in the welterweight division. He has a tremendous resume. Went the distance with Floyd Mayweather, Thurman, and Garcia. Wins over loads of recognizable names. Really one of the true champions of his generation. He's trained by his dad, Ruben Guerrero. And Ruben, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, man. All I gotta say is that I want to thank everybody, and that's going to be tuning in to PBC. This is going to be a great fight. It's going to be a war, like you said. It's going to come down to a war. So we're doing what we got to do. We're going to be ready, and that's all I got to say is we're going to be super ready for this fight, and this is a fight we want, and it's going to be great for the fans. And they can't miss this fight because, like you said, it's going to be a great fight, tremendous fight. They both can fight.
Agreed. These are two guys that really can fight, and two guys that need this win, and two guys that are going to throw down really, really hard. And frankly, Robert Guerrero's never done anything his whole career but throw down. He's 110%er, as I call him, the kind of guy that never gives less than everything he has always been in good fights. A true champion. My pleasure to introduce Robert Guerrero.
Hey, thank you, Lou. Appreciate those words. Now I'm ready to go. I've just been training hard. I've been doing what I got to do. Been studying a lot of film. Omar's a tremendous fighter. He's a barn burner. He comes to fight all the time, and he's very awkward. He's very awkward. The way he switches positions, his footwork, the type of pressure he puts, and the volume of punches he puts out. So he's one of the guys you got to be super ready for. If you're not ready for him, he's just going to pound you down into the mat. So that being said, I'm that same type of fighter. I'm the same type of fighter that comes in very great shape, who throws a lot of punches and loves to throw fastballs all the way to the end. So, it's going to be a barn burner. I think a lot of people are excited for this fight. I'm excited for it because, I know Omar's the type of guy that doesn't run. Coming from, where my family comes from, Texas. When guys come out of Texas, they come to fight all the time. So, it's going to be exciting. It's exciting, and to be back in the ring, especially on Fox. In the new venue out there in Long Island. I'm really pumped up to be able to have the opportunity to come out and fight on the East Coast, and I know I have a lot of fans out there, and it's going to be a treat, especially getting in the ring with a guy like Omar, who comes to fight. So man, I'm excited for this. I've been training hard, like I said, and been doing all the homework I need to do. Some fights I come up short. It's just it comes down to lack of preparation, and for this fight, I'm going to be very prepared for it. And like you said, Lou, this is a must-win for both of us. So I can't wait to get out there, in July and take care of business.
Thank you, Robert. And like Robert said, this really does. Guys from Texas, they throw down. Guys from California, they also throw down. I expect this to be the kind of fight in the vein of a Gaddy Ward or a Salido Vargas or a Vargas Mayura. This is a must-win fight in a lot of ways for both Robert and for Omar, and I don't see how this fight can miss. I'm expecting the main event of the show to be a Fight of the Year candidate. And now I'd like to open up for questions.
Marquez Vasquez. Yeah.
That's another great example. Exactly. I'm going to open up for questions for Ruben and for Robert.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And I'm waiting for callers to join the queue at this present time. Well, our first question is going to come from Jack Hirsch from Boxing News. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, to Robert Guerrero. You mentioned you lost some fights because of a lack of preparation before. I mean, what would be different this time?
Getting back to the basics. It's like in any sport, you got to come back to the basics and not just, have an ego and just think you're going to mow everybody down and put that pressure and just knock somebody out. When I came up to 147 pounds, I had something to prove. Everybody's saying that I'm crazy. I'm too small for the weight class. So it went to my head thinking, hey, I gotta mow these guys down. I gotta show them I'm big enough to be here and bad enough to be here. And it's not a smart fight. My father would tell me things in the corner, and it'll go in one ear and out the other, and I would do what I want. And that comes down to lack of preparation. Mentally, just blocking stuff out and just going. Where you got to be smarter than that in the ring and use your head. So we went back to a lot of things we've been doing before in the ring, where what got me there, what got me to be able to get up to 147 pounds and wreck through different weight divisions. So, getting back and getting back to those basics and using your God-given abilities is what gets you there, to the show. And if you don't use them and throw them out the door, you go back to square one.
Yeah, at this point of your career, some people regard you as a little more of an opponent than a fighter with a big future in the sport. Are you aware of that, and what's your mindset?
Oh, most definitely. When they start calling you the gatekeeper, that makes it so, you're an opponent pretty much, for the guy to make that next step. So it comes down to, like I said, lack of preparation and not being 100% prepared like I should, listening and doing what I have to do in the gym and listening to my father in the ring, and what to do, and just that it comes down to that. And, but that being said, actions speak louder than words, and all I can do is just show the world, what I've been working on.
And you could, going forward, this could be for Brett, you, or Mark, or Lou. You could answer the big fights in New York, because the Nassau Coliseum is the twin arena, more or less, to the Barclays Center. Where will the big fights be going to? Will they be split down the middle, moving forward?
I'll take that one. I think that you're going to see a lot. You're going to see the same kind of volume of fights you've been seeing in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. And for a card that makes sense for Nassau and Long Island, and depending on date availability, there's a second venue that's a great venue for boxing also. So I think it's going to be a case-by-case basis, but I wouldn't expect less volume than you've seen previously. I think you're going to see huge fights with the same kind of frequency at the Barclays Center. Nassau is another great venue, run by great people and people we work with regularly, and the best in the business. And this will be the first, I think, of many shows at Nassau, but don't expect anything fewer at Barclays.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, guys, and good luck.
Hey, thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Keith Eidig from theboxingscene.com. Please go ahead.
Robert, you've had a nice long break here. It'll be almost a year in between fights. How much has that helped you, and how much did you need a break like that?
It helped me a lot. It helped me a big, great deal because of, being able to regroup and rest your body. I'm in my 30s now. You got to be smart about things and take care of your body. And before, I would just go all out training hard and do things that, that you push over the boundaries. It's being smart about things, and then also to, like I said, being able to look back at everything and regroup, what I'm doing wrong, the preparations and really assessing everything in my career and what took that left turn and get right back on path where I'm supposed to be. And it just really helped out a lot, and being ready for this next fight. I having a great camp so far. I'm excited. I feel great. My body feels good. I'm doing a lot of things that I haven't been doing in a long time. So, I'm going to be ready for this fight, and I'm excited for it.
What are some of the things that you haven't been doing that you hadn't been doing that you're doing now?
Using my head. Using my head in the ring, not being smart about things. Just like I said earlier with the other question was, not listening in the corner, just wanting to mow people down. Getting out there and just, trying to make a statement and prove a point to everybody that I can fight at 147 pounds and pretty much, excuse my language, but, my dick's bigger than yours. Pretty much. That's the type of mentality you're going out there with. And it's one of those things where in this game at 147 pounds with all the talent out there, guys like Danny, guys like, Porter, you got, Keith Thurman, you got so many, you got Errol Spence, you got all these guys, everybody's putting their skills to work, and you're the one that's just coming in and just trying to mow guys down. it doesn't work. It doesn't work with the type of talent that's at 147 pounds right now.
You mentioned earlier about the words gatekeeper and opponent being used as it pertains to you. How much motivation has that given you as you've trained for this fight?
Oh, it gives a lot of motivation. You want to be known as one of the top fighters in the division and one of the best, and to be able to be there and be categorized as a gatekeeper or the stepping stone for this guy. If he can get past this test, he's on his way. No, you want to be the guy that they're on their way to. So, it does motivate you. It gets you excited, gets you out there to work hard and really, look back at everything and think about, what you've been doing in the ring and being smart about things. So, it really does light a fire under you. You get a lot of fighters who go out there and say, oh, I've had the best camp ever, this and that, and, I've been doing this and blah, blah, blah. But 90% of the time when a guy's, when he's, doing really good and, that adversity is not there, they don't change anything. They just keep going about their thing. So, when your back's against the wall and, you got to fight your way out, that's when you got to use your head. You got to be smart. You got to say, hey, you know what, let's see what's going on. Let's see why we're in this corner and let's take care of business.
Robert, Figueroa is obviously a relentless guy who's always coming forward and everything. Can you kind of assess him as a fighter and maybe what some of his strengths and weaknesses are? As far as Figueroa being a fighter, he's a very tough guy. Volume puncher, can take a good punch, puts tremendous amount of pressure. And, but there's a lot of flaw in his style. There's a lot of flaw you can capitalize on. But that being said, also, the type of style he brings, makes things very awkward for other guys. The way he switches and with the amount of pressure he puts and the volume of punches he puts out, it makes it tough for a fighter to adjust to that and really get on his game plan. He, like I said, he's a tough guy. He comes to fight, throws a lot of punches. He's very awkward. It's about putting your game plan together and, being smart and not letting yourself fall apart during the fight. I noticed a lot of fighters he's fought, with the amount of pressure and punches he throws and his awkwardness, they tend to fall apart, as they go through the fight, and then, they start to lose their game plan. And, you got to be really headstrong in there and be able to, stay on your game throughout the whole fight. He's only fought at welterweight one time. It was a little over the welterweight limit. How much of an advantage do you feel that is for you? You can say it's an advantage, or it depends how he steps in the ring. You can say you have the advantage because I've had more fights at 147 pounds, but then also you can say, hey, you know what? I've had some wars at 147 pounds. And, with him, coming from the lighter weights coming up, he's more fresh. He's had some time off. He's been training. So, hey, you know what? It all, time will tell, how it's going to go down in the ring. Thanks for your time, Robert.
Yep, thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Lim Satterfield from the Boxing Premier Champions. Please go ahead.
Hey, Robert, how are you doing?
All right, how's it going?
I'm blessed, man. Hey, listen, when you jumped 2 weight classes and fought Selçuk Aydin, what were you thinking when you did that? And now that he's choosing, Omar's choosing to face you, the first now legitimate former champion at 147, or, at least interim, what do you think he's thinking? And, is that a mistake if he's thinking that this is going to be an easy fight toward the end?
I don't think he's thinking it's going to be an easy fight, knowing my background and how I come and what type of fighter I am. But, when I jumped up in weight and fought, Aydin, it was one of those things where I had a spectacular fight. I was on my game. I was boxing good. I was inside good. Outside, I was moving. And,
hit him with some shots, hurt him. I mean, it was a great war. And Dean being such a big puncher, strong guy who mows guys down and bullies them, it kind of went to my head where, hey, I can do this. I can stand there and trade with these guys. I can mow these guys down. This guy right here, nobody wanted to fight him, and I came and just took him out, put it on him. I think that fight kind of hurt me mentally where I thought I was unstoppable and I'm just going to mow through guys. And you've seen a glimpse of it with also, too, after that with Andre Berto, where I just walked him down and just punished him. And those type of fights right there, moving up to 147, really kind of, I think, mentally made me just, hey, you know what? I'm big and bad, and I can walk anybody down. And then, you run into guys like Thurman, who are the biggest guys in the weight class, who are big punchers. And, like I said before in the earlier question, where, the type of talent that's at 147 pounds, you can't do that. You got to be smart, and you got to be able to go out there and take care of business and put your skills to work.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think that he might be thinking similarly, or do you think he, unlike you challenged the tough guy that nobody beat before? Do you think he's thinking the same thing, or do you think he's looking at you as the easier of other potential choices at this weight?
No, I think he's looking at this fight as I'm a fighter. I come to fight no matter what it is.
Okay.
And, I think that's the reason why he's preparing very well. We were trying to make this fight, earlier this year, and they said, they needed more time, to prepare, and so it got moved, and it's one of those things where I think, knowing he's at 147 pounds and his previous fight, knowing like, hey, okay, now these guys are bigger. Now I gotta change some things up. So I think he's going to be very prepared for this fight, and he's coming to fight. He's coming ready. So especially training with Joel Diaz. I know his guys. I fought a few of his guys before, and they come to fight, and he gets his guys very prepared and ready to rock and roll, and not just prepared as in a boxing way, but they're prepared to go to war. So I know it's going to be a great fight.
Last question: do you feel that you do need a little bit? You're the senior guy in this weight. You faced some of the top guys at this weight. Do you need to be a little bit of a bully? Do you need to be a little bit of a boss in this fight? Show him that he's in a new weight class with guys that are perhaps stronger than he's faced before?
I think I just got to come out and do my job, come out and work, and put my game plan together, during the fight, keep everything together throughout the fight, and, come do my job. Just come 100% ready and prepared. I know every time I get in that ring, it can change in a heartbeat where, one or two punches, it changes my whole attitude. And it's like, hey, okay, now I got to show this guy, but it's about being smart and using my head in the ring. And, that's what I'm going to do.
Robert, thanks a lot and good luck in the fight.
Hey, thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Jake Donovan from thefightnight.com. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Robert, you might have already answered this, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I'm not quite sure I got it. But with this fight, would it be fair to say that it's a fair evaluation of what you're still capable of doing in this sport in 2017? And that, I'm not asking that as if, you're overlooking OMAR Figueroa. I think he's a weak opponent. But as opposed to fighting like the very best welterweights in the world, do you think this is going to be a fair gauge of what you have left to offer the sport?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. This fight right here is going to show a lot. And it's going to show a lot to the fans. It's going to show a lot to the boxing world. Getting in there with a young Figueroa who loves to come and exchange and throw a lot of punches and who loves to just abuse the fighters and put it on them. You know, it's one of those fights where you know, like I said before, you know, action's gonna speak louder than words, and you know, I know you know a lot of media and stuff, and you know, a lot of fans are like, hey, you know, Guerrero's already at that point, and it's time to just show them, hey, you know what, I got a lot left, and I got to come and take care of business fight night. But you know, this does lead to the bigger picture, where you know, to get back into that title contention, and you know, but you got to take care of business first with Figueroa to be able to take that next step.
Okay, and I know no fighter ever wants to mention the R word. Now, I'm not even going to dare suggest that it's even on the horizon for you. But let's say hypothetically you win on July 15th. Like, what do you envision, like, say in the next 12 months? I know you don't want to look past OMAR Figueroa, but like, I guess from a guy who doesn't want to, you know, he doesn't want the sport to retire him. What do you think is going to happen to you in the next year or so?
It's funny you say you don't want to look past, but every fighter does, no matter what. Every fighter is looking, you know, beyond that horizon. You know, what's the possibility?
Right.
You know, there's huge possibilities. I mean, there's a lot of big fights out there. You know, there's a lot of championship fights out there. It's you know, it's a matter. The one great thing about, you know, being with Al Heyman and PBC, he's not scared to mix it up, you know, and throw fighters in with tough guys and make the fights. So, you know, I'm excited that I'm in this position, and this fight right here, it's you know, this fight right here, it's, you know, going to get me over that horizon to see, you know, what's up next, you know, what's next in my career. So, you know, fight night, we got to take care of business.
Okay. And then my last question, I know you said earlier that, you know, you, kind of what's been your setback in recent years is going in there and getting caught up in who's bigger. That said, your last name, you know, you're literally a warrior. So do you think you have it in you to fight a smart fight for 12 rounds or less against OMAR Figueroa, yet at the same time provide that entertainment factor that always comes with every Robert Guerrero fight?
Yeah, you know, it does come my name, Guerrero, you know, warrior. So
right, you got no choice.
You know, you just never know what happens. You never know what happens what's in that ring, and sometimes you got to change it up. You know, if the game plan's not working, sometimes it's just like, hey, we got to go to war. We got to go to war. Let's go to war.
Okay.
But you know, it's you know, it's you know, taking this time I had off. Like I said before, I was able to you know, regroup and look at everything. You know, assess everything. You know, in my career, how I've been fighting, stuff I've been doing wrong in the gym, stuff I've been you know, taking advice here, taking advice there, doing this, doing that, just everything that comes along with it. And you know, I was able to regroup and you know, put it together, and you know, God willing, everything goes great, and we could do it fight night.
All right, very cool. Thank you so much, Robert. Always a pleasure talking to you, and looking forward to seeing you in my old hometown next month.
Yep, I'll be there.
All right, take care.
Well, our next question is going to come from Chip Mitchell from thefightjournal.com. Please go ahead.
Hey, Ghost. You spoke about using your head with these guys, but ironically, with Omar's style, do you like your chances to mow him down, since it's likely he's going to kind of keep it toe-to-toe and keep the pressure on you, as opposed to being a pure boxer?
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Just because I'm using my head don't mean I'm going to be over here on my toes, you know, prancing around and you know, moving and moving. You know, I'm there to fight. I'm here to fight. And, you know, when it comes down to talking about using my head, I'm talking about putting all my skills to use and you know, doing things that I haven't done in the boxing gym, you know, listening to my father in the corner on taking advice on what I need to do and what I need to change up. But don't get me wrong, you know, using my head, I was never that type of, you know, dancing around, moving around boxer. I've always been that type of boxer where, you know, I'll stay in there in the pocket, you know, and stuff like that. So, you know, it's, yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not there to run around and move and, you know, shake and bake. I'm there to fight.
Copy. Okay, now, is this your first fight in New York?
Yes. The closest I've been to New York was New Jersey.
Newark. Okay. And being that this is a bit historical and that it is New York, does it bring any extra excitement for you, or is this a case of once you've been in one ring, you've been in all of them?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on. I mean, once you've been in one ring, and you've done it for a long time, and you've been different places, out of the country to fight, and a whole bunch of different places. It comes down to just being ready and knowing how to get in there and take care of business. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be coming out to the East Coast and doing it. I just know next time I learn my lesson. Don't go out there and don't carry your firearm with you.
Okay, and let's see if I can squeeze in two more. Notwithstanding comments by fans about gatekeeper status or what have you, do you view this as your final opportunity for a serious run at a world title?
No, I think it's at a critical point where you got to take care of business. Anything happens in boxing. I mean, that's the one nice thing about the type of fighter that I am. You're always relevant in the division because you ain't no pushover. You come to fight. So it's but I mean every fight you got to take it like it's your last, and you got to be ready.
Okay, the final question, if I can, for Ruben. Ruben, do you feel just as much pressure for a victory, just from a training perspective for your son?
Well, I never feel pressure, because this ain't our first barbecue. We've been there already. But like us, we're warriors, we're Guerreros, man, and once we get in that ring, it changes a whole different ball game. And we're coming ready to fight. We come prepared. My son gets ready, and all I got to say, man, is we're going to prove to the world where we're going to be at for the next fight, man. We're fighting a tough kid, young kid, young buck. But, it all comes down, like my son said, it comes down to skills, listening to me. And, we're going to have a game plan for this kid. And everybody's going to be surprised when we get in that ring because we're not coming just to fight. We're coming to win. And we're coming with a smart plan. And, the world's going to see what we're all about. We're going to be back in the game. We're going to be back in the top. And I'm confident we're going to win, And like we said, we're Guerrero fan, and we're coming to win.
No question. Thank you both.
You're welcome.
That was our last question from for Robert Guerrero. Mr. Bella?
I believe we still have one more for Robert. Omar was on. Is Omar on now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great. Okay, actually, yes, that was the last question then for Robert. So, Lou, are you on?
Joel Diaz is also here.
Oh, good. Okay, Joel. So, Robert, do you want to make any kind of closing statement, and then we're going to switch over to Omar and Joel?
Yeah, I'm just ready to go. I'm excited for this fight. How's it going, Omar? See you July. How you doing? I'm excited. And I'll say what's up to Joel. I haven't seen you in a long time. How you been? Just ready to go. Can't wait for the fight. I'm excited about this fight. It's a big opportunity on Fox, and we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready to take care of business, and see you guys fight night, and let's get it on the road.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you, Ruben. I look forward to seeing you guys on Long Island.
And, how about them Warriors out here in the Bay Area?
Yeah, man, I actually was pretty happy about that one. Great to have you guys. Thank you very much.
Bye.
We got a lot of champions in the Bay Area.
Now I'm going to turn this over to Team Figueroa. Omar 26-0-1 with 18 KOs. Former WBC lightweight champion. He moved up to welterweight in 2015. He's got a load of good wins. Real warrior, the same kind of vein as Robert, and this figures to be an all-out brawl, as we've been saying. He's got one of the best trainers in the business, the guy that I have tremendous respect for. I think is very few better right now in boxing than Joel Diaz. And Joel, do you want to say a few words?
Well, thank you guys for having us here. Like Robert said, we're there to put up a great fight. Omar's been here since the beginning of the year. He took care of his issues. He had a little bit of issues and took some time off, well deserved. He had a great career, tough fight. Omar is the type of fighter that people want to see, as well as Robert Guerrero. They come to fight. That's why I think this fight, it's a great fight for the fans. Omar and Robert, I think they're going to give the fans what they want to see, a great, exciting fight. And preparation for Omar Figueroa has been great. One of his little toughest things in preparation is his weight, and that's not an issue anymore. He's been doing really, really well. In the past, I know he had little bit of injuries on his hands in training, and that's what we focus on, maintaining them, and so he's healthy. He's 100%. Had no injuries whatsoever. So for July 15th, Omar Figueroa will be 100% ready to give the best of his ability and come back with a victory. I want to say thanks to Robert Guerrero, being such a professional person. Known him for a while. It's been a while I don't see him, and I'm looking forward to see him July 15th. Thank you,
Joel. And now with a record of 26-0-1 with 18 KOs, former WBC lightweight champion, one of the best young welterweights in the world, a guy who's a warrior in the truest sense, like Robert Guerrero, which is why this is a can't-miss fight. My pleasure to introduce Omar Figueroa. Omar?
Yes, sir.
Want to say a few words?
First off, want to say thank you guys for having me on, and thank you to Robert Guerrero and his camp for accepting the fight. And I'm not at a loss for words when it comes to how excited I am to be back. And I've missed everything that has to do with this. I've been on the big stage before, and at the same time, it's not something that I crave. I'm not about the whole spectacle about boxing. I feel like I enjoy it in a pure form. I like the challenge. I like the adrenaline rush that I get. The bigger the challenge, the better. And the thing that happened was that the challenges were getting to be too big because I wasn't able to prepare for fights properly. I had injuries and I had this and I had that. And it was just getting to a point where I was killing myself to be on that stage and at that level. And that's why I took this break. I'm back now. I've been training here with Joel since January, and it's been great. I feel great. My body is healed. My mind is relaxed, and that is all I could ever ask for. So July 15th, I should be at the top of my game, if not close to it.
I think we can open it for questions after.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And I'm waiting for callers to join the queue. So our next question is going to come from Jack Hirsch from the Boxing News. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Omar, Joel. Omar, in Robert Guerrero, you're going to be meeting a man who's very aggressive, who likes to fight head-on, and that's really the way you fight. Are there any plans to adjust during the fight? And Joel, also, have you worked on a plan B just in case, Robert Guerrero's effective, moving in, throwing a lot of punches?
Well, we work for every style. When we're in the gym, we prepare for plan A, plan B, plan C if it's necessary, because things change. You can prepare for one style, and that night things can change. But if Robert Guerrero decides to come forward and and make it a fight, he's gonna have a war because he's stepping in the ring against one of the most aggressive fighters that I've known, and that's OMAR Figueroa. And if he decides to box as well, Omar's been in the ring with boxers, brawlers. There's nothing Omar has not seen in that ring that we cannot be prepared for. So whatever Robert Guerrero decides to do, we'll be ready for it.
And Omar, you're considered a volume puncher. You throw a tremendous amount of punches. As you're getting a little older, you concentrating a little more on power, punching maybe a little less, and putting a little more behind the punches?
Well, the thing is that I couldn't put more behind my punches because my hands were just a wreck. So I had to make up for that lack of power with volume, like you said. And everything has to have this sort of equilibrium. So I wasn't able to put the power behind my punches to be like totally effective. So I made up with work. I worked harder to get the points that I needed to win the fight. So I don't know how my hands are going to feel. I am reluctant to go 100%. We've debated different things that we could do so that I can mentally just feel comfortable and let go of my hands. But it's something that lingers. My hands feel great, and I can punch a wall right now with full force, but mentally I won't allow myself to do so. So it's something that, like Joel says, once we get in the fight, we'll see what Guerrero's going to bring to the table, and we'll adjust accordingly.
And Omar, even though you've had tremendous success in your career thus far, the feeling is you haven't gone as far as you potentially could. I mean, are you aware of that?
Definitely. Nobody knows what I'm capable of more than myself.
And you at the stage now of your career? I mean, where did you think you would be at this particular stage compared to where you are now?
Honestly, I once I started having my injuries, I kind of stopped thinking too far ahead. I never did that. I always like to focus on the task at hand, and especially, like I said, with the injuries, it kind of brings you back a little down to earth and lets you see your life as it truly is. And so I was taking it one fight at a time. I am just grateful that I'm able to be at this stage and to perform at this level and to have the honor of being in the ring with these kinds of guys and to work with, one of the top trainers in the world. I'm just grateful for the opportunities that I'm getting. I worked my ass off to be here, and I'm just taking advantage, or trying to at least.
And Robert Guerrero said earlier, despite what all fighters say, they do look ahead. Okay, even though they might not be taking an opponent lightly, they look ahead. Have you looked at all past Robert Guerrero about some of the possibilities that could be awaiting you?
No, sir. The only thing I've looked at past Guerrero was going and getting a hot dog and maybe some pizza there in New York City.
Okay. And you get good pizza here in New York. Okay. Good luck on the 15th.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Lem Satterfield from Premier Boxing Champions. Please go ahead.
Hey, Omar, how you doing?
What's up, Lem?
Hey, man, it's good talking to you. First of all, this is Father's Day coming up. What does that mean to you?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said Father's Day is coming up. What does that mean? That you love your daughter?
Well, it means that yet another Father's Day I'm going to spend here training away from my kids. And at the end of the day, I gotta look at the bigger picture and know that I'm doing this for them. And I talk to my kids often on the phone, and my daughter immediately, the first thing she does is tells me that she loves me, and obviously my son as well. So I know that I'm missed. I know that this is a sacrifice for everybody, but I know that at the end of the day, it'll all be worth it.
Okay, now this is your third straight former champion that you're fighting, and your second straight southpaw. Do you see any similarities between either the careers of the guys you're fighting in terms of their desperation, and then also any similarity between Robert being a southpaw and DeMarco being a southpaw?
There's actually a big difference for each one. The preparations that the way the preparation happened for each fight was totally different. For Ricky Burns, I didn't do any boxing training whatsoever. I had a fractured hand. For DeMarco, I had a messed up elbow, and I got sick right before the fight. And right now, I'm feeling great. My body's totally cooperating with me, and so preparation has been different as well. I feel great. The weight shouldn't be a problem, and it's just you never know what training camp's going to bring. It always has little surprises for us. So hopefully it doesn't surprise me too bad, and we get to make it to the fight in one piece and as close to 100% as possible. And I don't know. I've always said I'm excited to see what I'm able to do in the ring when I'm close to 100% at least. Mm-hmm. And it just hasn't happened yet. So I'm hoping this will be the one.
So this is. Would you say in terms of how healthy you've been in your last 4 or 5 fights? How healthy are you compared to those fights? Is this the healthiest you've been or close to the healthiest?
Yes, this is the healthiest I've been. This is the healthiest I've been since 2013, that year that I had I had 2 knockouts, one against Aurad, 2 first-round knockouts, and then I had Fight of the Year with Arakawa. But the difference is that in the Arakawa fight, I fractured both of my hands in that fight. So I mean, before the fight, for the preparation, like I said, this is as healthy as I've ever been.
Right. So I guess my last question for you is, with Robert Guerrero's style and what you've seen in him, do you feel like he would be, I guess, favorable for what you want to do in the fight? And do you predict that it'll be a brawl just like Lou DiBella did at the beginning of the call?
Well, that's what they all say. They all say that they're going to stand in the middle of the ring and go toe-to-toe and blah, 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 but it's always a different story once you start getting hit. It's like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until you get hit. So I feel that things will change once he steps in the ring with me and he sees how hard I hit and how effective I am on the inside. And then it'll be more of me chasing after him for a few rounds, hopefully. Hopefully I'm right.
So you feel as though you're going to back him up, and if you do back him up, have you seen him in any fights at this weight being effective in retreat?
I have not.
So what does that mean as far as if you're able to do what you do? What's your thinking?
Well, I think that's something that Joel and I have to discuss and go through, see what the plan's going to be, because of course, we prepare, like he says, we prepare for every style. We're ready for whatever comes our way, and normally, like everyone knows, I go forward, and Joel says I have a messed up transmission because I don't have reverse in me. So we'll see. I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out as a team.
Omar, thank you so much, and good luck in the fight.
No problem.
Our next question is going to come from Jake Donovan from thefightnight.com. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Omar, first of all, welcome back. It's been a long time coming for you. I know you missed it. That said, did it kind of ease the pain watching your brother Brandon develop in the ring for the past year? I know you've been a constant presence in his career.
Yeah, no, I mean it's kind of been bittersweet. It's made me miss the fight game, but at the same time, it's kind of eased my worries having him, in the spotlight, having him go through what I go through, and I was kind of living vicariously through him. So I guess it did help, and actually that was one of the reasons why I decided to take that break too, because I wanted him to be in the spotlight. I mean, I needed that break regardless. but seeing him, shine and take advantage of the opportunities he has been given, it felt even better for me.
Okay, very cool. And then as far as your own comeback, what made you agree upon a fight with Robert Guerrero? I mean, there's a lot of welterweights out there. There's easier fights for you. There's bigger fights for you. Why Robert Guerrero after a 17, 18-month layoff?
Oh, that wasn't my decision. My team already knows that I don't care who I step in the ring with. So I tell them, you guys that's your job. My job is to train and fight and put up a good show, and your guys' job is to, make sure that things go well when it comes to the business side and the other side of boxing. So I don't really delve too much into that side. I let my team handle their jobs, and that's it. That's as far as I go when it comes to any of that.
Okay. And then my final question, I know you said in your past 2 fights you were banged up going into them. I'm sure they also attributed to, you struggling to make weight in both of those fights. That said, do you see yourself as a welterweight going forward, or given your frame, do you feel like you could even campaign at 140 at some point in the future, if it makes sense?
No, I'm planning to go down to 140. Once I, it's like you said, it's been a while since I stepped in the ring or since I went through any of this BS with the weight and all that. So once I do that, once I get down to 147 and whatnot, I plan to linger around there, not get too heavy, and get back down to 140 in the future.
Okay, very cool. Good to have you back on board. Looking forward to seeing you next month.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Our next question is going to come from Chip Mitchell from thefightjournal.com. Please go ahead.
Okay, Omar. Guys pretty much stole 5 of my questions, so that leaves me with 1. Have you done anything experimental for your hands, such as from the small, like changing gloves or wrapping them differently, or to something more cutting edge, like looking at different technology that might be out there?
No. There really isn't much I can do. I mean, for like you said, from trying out different way to wrap my hand, different padding, different gloves. Mm-hmm. Aside from that, really all I did was give my hands time. I mean, I've done some crazy stuff before. I've gone to some experimental doctors before that believe in all this different kind of medicine, and they've injected this sort of monkey blood on my hand. I've had acupuncture. I've had all sorts of crazy stuff done to my hands in the past. But it's been 3, 4, 5 years since I've done that. I've stuck to more, I guess, conventional methods. Not that they didn't work or anything. At that point, when you're desperate and you just want healthy hands, you'll do anything to have them. But no, aside from, like I said, just trying out different paddings, different ways of wrapping them, being careful. That's one thing that I do too. I'm which actually I get in trouble for. Joel gives me shit for not going all out in sparring and whatnot. And he goes back to the good old days when I drop everybody in a round or two. And I tell him, I wish I could do that, but things are different, coach. I got it. So that's basically it.
Okay, thank you, Champ. And my only other question is for Lou. Is Ford Amphitheater, will that be considered for future bouts?
I'm sorry. Ford Amphitheater?
The Coney Island boardwalk location, will that be considered again where the Spence Jr. Bundu took place as a venue to host fights again?
I mean, it's a nice venue, for the summer, sort of early fall months. So it's still a possible venue. Obviously, we had a good time there doing the Spence Bundu. That was the same card that we did. The girls fight with Heather Hardy and Shelley Vincent. So I mean, it's a possible venue for the future. But it's not really for an event of this magnitude.
Okay, thank you.
Our last question is going to come from Mickey Marcello from the Sea Cliff News. Please go ahead.
Hello, Omar.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Long Island, Omar. A fight like this, everyone's hyping it as fight. Does that add any pressure to you as a fighter?
Oh, did we lose Omar? Omar, are you there?
I think we may have.
Yeah, I think we did.
Have lost. Are there more questions?
No, that was.
Is that the last question anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was the last question anyway, guys. So thank you all for joining us. Again, OMAR Figueroa versus Robert Guerrero, Sean Monahan against Marcus Brown, Arthur Shpilka against Adam Kaunacki, PBC on Fox and Fox Deportes, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time at NYCB's Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, Saturday, July 15th, 2017. So the first fight at Nassau Coliseum in 31 years, Ticketmaster.com, NYCBLive.com, or the Ticketmaster box office at the Nassau Coliseum. Thanks you all for joining us, and we hope to see you there.
I would like to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. I'll disconnect, and I hope you have a great day.